Hi, I'm Brian Shifman. I'm here with Greg Engel, the CEO of OrganiGram. I'm the president and CEO of the Vaughan Chamber of Commerce. We just did another great session of our CEO Speaker Series, learning from prominent CEOs, best practices, challenges they face. And Greg, I wanted to thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And it was a great session, and I'm going to sort of ask you some of the questions we've heard about for those who couldn't be here. So the first one I wanted to start with was, it seems that OrganiGram's competitive advantage has to do with the yields you're able to get because of the unique way that you're growing. Can you talk about how you vertically grow?
Yeah, I mean, from day one, OrganiGram has been very unique in terms of we do 3 levels of cultivation, which you'll see globally throughout the world, even here in Canada. Vertical farming is becoming kind of a predominant source of supply, especially in areas that have land constriction issues. So we've taken that one step further to cannabis cultivation. And what it allows us to do, as well as the investment in our indoor cultivation facility, is take advantage of our infrastructure in a more fulsome manner. So our yields are industry leading, and that has led to, because of our indoor production, where predominantly the majority of other companies are really gone with large greenhouses. But with our yields being so high, it gives us the lowest cost of any publicly reporting company today. So we're growing high quality product at a very low cost because of how we grow in the cultivation system that we use, which is really unique.
I think it's very impressive, and obviously a lot of interest in that. And is that, obviously you have that competitive advantage, and now another advantage you have is that you're now on the Nasdaq. Can you talk about what that's meant for OrganiGram?
Yeah, so we've historically always been on the TSXV, and we are traded over the counter in the U.S., and we've just seen such growing demand from U.S. investors, and many of them prohibited to investing in companies until you're on the Nasdaq or the NYSE. So we made a decision to go on to the Nasdaq specifically because of their historical kind of tie to kind of growth and innovation, and that was like aligned more with our vision as a company, because we really see ourselves kind of as a truly innovative company that's focused on a lot of innovation going forward. So we went through that process over the last kind of 6 months. Just started trading on the Nasdaq last Tuesday. We're already seeing our volume on a daily basis in the U.S. is outpacing our Canadian volume, so definitely a great move for us, and we're getting additional interest. And part of this is, the investment funds and the large long-term institutional funds that couldn't take a position in you before that are now investing in the company. So it's been phenomenal.
Well, and congratulations on now being on the Nasdaq. One of the things you talked about that you're looking to expand into is the chocolate infused products.
Sure.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so when we've looked at market data of the U.S., and Colorado's had a program in place since 2014, what we see is the edibles and vaporizable products still are a pretty big predominant part of the market. And in edibles in particular, which is 25-30% of the market, let's say, chocolates is the leading form that people look to. So we have a team that's led by Jeff Purcell, who came from Ganong Chocolate, so long experience in confectionery and chocolates. And we've taken a lot of the work he's done and what we've been doing with Canada's Smartest Kitchen on developing new forms of chocolate, as well as investing recently $15 million on a global leading production line for chocolates that will produce any type of chocolate, including automated packaging, so that at the end of the day, we treat our facility as a large-scale industrial operation facility, right? So you've got to be producing throughput at a very high level. This isn't about, filling individual products. It's about doing it at scale to meet the demands of the market.
Yeah, of course. And how do you think your previous role at Tilray, and ultimately Tilray obviously had an IPO, helped you prepare yourself for the role at OrganiGram and ultimately getting on the Nasdaq?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. One, I have an advantage having been the CEO of 2 different companies, so that gives me a unique perspective on the market. And having been in the industry 4.5 years, which in the cannabis space is a long time.
Right, it's a long time
of a new industry. So I think preparing for that and going through and being a big part of a lot of the private capital raises that we did, and then preparing ultimately for an IPO that happened after I left, but gives you a perspective on investors and the investment community, and then the opportunity to come to OrganiGram and lead a publicly traded company did prepare me for that, as well as kind of leading to the Nasdaq listing now, which has been a big plus.
Right. Yeah. And one of the things we talked a lot about was the illicit market, and how I thought you had a great answer in terms of how you start to deal with the illicit market. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think there's 3 key aspects, right? So one is, as an industry, as a government regulator, I think one of the key aspects is education, highlighting that the quality of the products that licensed producers like OrganiGram are producing are different. We go through rigorous testing. We know they're contaminant free, and ultimately the dosing, as we get to edibles and vaporizable products, is kind of aligned with what the product says it has. So that's key. I think secondly, there's a way to really focus on preventing many of those illicit sources from processing payments. And I'd like to see, and we'd like to see as an industry, Canadian Banking Association and other groups in the financial services industry really focus on how do we prevent those online sources or illicit retail stores to process payments. We know prohibition doesn't work. We know criminal enforcement doesn't work. But I think if you go after kind of an ability to process payments, that's a key. And the third is, that whole retail experience. I think one of the things we talked about during the talk today was how, educating consumers is critical, but in order to educate them, having that kind of in-house experience and having that ability to talk to, because what we've seen, there was a CTV news report a few weeks ago that talked about how 20% of the people that are visiting retail stores are either new consumers or returning consumers that haven't used product for a very long time, years or decades, and they need education, and that's difficult to do online, so having that retail experience has been a big part of that.
Helps to educate them.
It does, absolutely.
And I guess this will be my last question, is you had a great answer to how you help train those third-party staff in the stores to give the best experience for your products to customers. So I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, so first of all, the majority of provinces have an accreditation program that staff working in the retail environment have to go through, so that's critical, and they're all kind of hitting that. But at OrganiGram, we focus on, we've got a national sales team, we've got field trainers, we have staff going in consistently working with the staff in the retail stores to train them about our products, what differentiates them, and they get a sense of kind of understanding. And that's going to be even more important when we get to edibles and the vaporizable products, because understanding those effects, which are very different than the current products, is going to be critical. So investing in that in-store experience with staff training has been a critical part of our success.
Makes sense. Thanks again for being here.
Great. Thanks again, Brian. Appreciate it.